Not so Smiley Day Geeks. Welcome back to the Geek Sider Show. I'm Josh.
I'm Anna.
And in this video, we're going to be discussing Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 31. So if you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. All right, I'm a little sick, but I'm going to try and power through this. So the first half of this episode was real quiet. It was eventful, but it was really quiet.
Yeah.
The Nightmare King made off with the crown. They investigated Ruidus a little bit more. But my main question from the first half is, Lana seemed to have a little bit of insight on what the crown did, or was she just hypothesizing on what the crown could do?
I don't remember. I know, was Lana the one who said what its powers were, that it could bring down an eclipse or something like that? Or did Matt give her that on a check or something?
She said something about the crown can help with memory wipes or something like that. That's what I'm thinking of. And I don't remember what happened that she would have that knowledge.
Yeah. I do remember either somebody saying or Matt giving them after some sort of check that the crown can create like eclipses to like help in battle, like that's its power.
Yeah, they'll help them get away or something.
Yeah, I think that was actually, I think Birdie or Ollie.
Yeah, that was from Fern talking to them.
So maybe that's where she got it from. Like Birdie and Ollie have seen this thing in play. Maybe the eclipses weren't for them to get away, but were wiping their memory and just kind of made a leap. I don't know. I can't really remember that happening.
I know Laudna had some information that I was like, how does she know that?
Yeah.
And
she might have just been speculating.
And that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, because sometimes Laudna does speculate and you're like, wait, does she know this or is she just talking?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
And that's kind of a theme with Marisha's character.
Yeah.
Like Marisha likes to try to figure things out. And about half the time she's right.
She's so good, yeah.
Another really interesting thing from the first half, I think it was the first half, is when FCG and Imogen went into Ollie's mind.
Yes.
That was it was cool, like the visual that Matt gave about it, but then also Fern.
Fucking Fern.
Like
Ollie having a nosebleed and Fern going to Imogen. It's okay, you can keep going. Like Fern is doing a great job of playing a fae creature, of getting that particular brand of chaotic selfishness,
quasi-evil.
Yeah, like morally ambiguous person. She's doing a very good job of it.
She even said later, "I want to hurt them."
Yeah.
Like physically or emotionally, and she goes, "Yes."
Yeah, but about that moment when Imogen asked her about that specific moment later, she's like, "Well, I didn't think it would kill him. It's just a little nosebleed."
Yeah.
Almost like she just didn't make that connection. But then when they were doing the deep therapy talk with FCG, that's when it came out that she was like, I kind of want to hurt them. Yeah. So was that like a subconscious thing?
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
100% it was.
Yeah. It was really good though. It was well thought out. Like they think out things so well that I'm like, man, I wish I could keep all that together about any one of my characters.
The thing that what occurred to me while we were watching it was all the memory wipes that Ollie went through, and presumably Birdie did too. Mm-hmm. And just that much messing around in somebody's mind, in their brain. Think of the CTE they have. Yeah. Like it's got to be borderline, you know, their brain's got to be just mush. Like if they had a CAT scan, what would their brains look like? It's got to do damage. Yeah, and maybe that's why they're so fuzzy on it.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they come across as so naive. Like maybe they didn't used to be, but all of this happening to them now, they're just completely naive and are unable to make connections that seem so glaringly obvious from the outside.
That much has to take a toll. And I gotta think that Matt has taken that into consideration.
Yeah, because like they're supposed to be fae tricksters who came here and swindled people. And yet, when they told the story of how they're working with Ira and why they trust him to do what he says he's going to do, it just felt so... It felt like your grandma explaining how she gave somebody $2,000 away on the telephone, where you're like, how did you not put it together? That sounds fishy as fuck.
Yeah.
But if they've had all these mind alterations and it's done damage, then maybe they've lost the ability to make good decisions and to be able to suss out when things are suspicious.
But there was some reason why they initially fell for it.
Yeah.
Like maybe they thought, okay, we can put one over on this guy, and then he started messing with their minds, and just slowly over time, but it's regardless, that much messing with their memories just got to have an effect on the brain.
Absolutely.
Ashton and the crystal. The lens.
Oh.
The lens.
Yeah, I don't know if that was an Ashton thing, a Tal thing, or if Tal did it and was like, Ashton would have done that. It tracks and just didn't. Because I feel like
I think Tal might have been metagaming a little bit, and it backfired on him because he didn't think it was going to break.
But I think magic items don't break with common items, but they do with magic items. And I think his hammer is magic. So like I think Tal was I don't know if Taliesin was like, oh, magic items can't break, and hit it not thinking about it, and then was like, oh wait, and then was like, fuck it, Ashton would have done that, and then let it go. Because I feel like if he had backtracked, Matt might have let that slide, because it was a bit of metagaming.
What was funny though was they did that and nobody saw.
I know, it was just Orem. I mean, I noticed immediately. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Well, because you and I are always watching what Ashton's doing.
Yeah, I watch Taliesin and Liam when I'm watching the episode. Those are the two that I focus on, because they do a lot of body acting, and if you don't watch them, you miss a lot of their character. So I tend to focus on those two. Yeah. So like that happened.
The group completely missed it.
Yeah, the whole rest of the group missed it until Liam was like, okay, so like 4 seconds ago in game time, Ashton just broke the fucking lens.
and Laudna was able to put it back together with mending, but there's no fucking way the thing works anymore. No,
it absolutely does not work anymore.
Do you think they're going to go back to Maury to try and get it repaired or get a new one?
I don't know why they would.
Right?
I was like, I don't... To me, it was kind of shocking, but like, it's not a big deal, because I don't think they need it anymore. It's basically not.
I can't think of a reason why they would need the telescope again.
Yeah, it lets them see the magic around things. So I mean, I guess they could have used it by looking through it and seeing if something has magic around it, but like, it doesn't seem so incredibly helpful. But I did find it hilarious that every fucking time Orem touches a magic item, something happens to it. He spent all that time going in and digging this fucking lens out, and Ashton's like, let me see, and he said, okay, and Ashton smashes it. And I was like, poor Orem, every time you touch a magic item, it's gone.
Getting into the second half of the episode, this is where the episode just took off.
Oh, yeah.
So, every once in a while, this campaign, when FCG has like a memory or somebody brings up a subject, Matt will say, okay, you take 1 point, you take 2 points. Well, apparently those points add up, and they are stress points, and when FCG goes over the amount, they freak out and just murder.
Yeah. And you know what's wild is, I don't know, we don't know as an audience, if FCG would have attacked them if Chetney hadn't done it first.
Yeah.
Because that's not exactly an unusual reaction, and that is absolutely something that Dancer's group could have done too, is he went limp and one of the other bots came up and smacked him on the back and boom, attack.
Or just touched him, because we don't know, like, give him like, hey, are you okay? He's like, murder.
Yeah. So we have no idea what exactly set off the attack. So that'll be interesting to figure that out as we keep track of that. But I kind of love, we have 2 characters who can flip and attack their party. Because Chetney, if he dips below half his health, he has to roll to see if he attacks somebody, or if the wolf comes out. And then now FCG, if he gets enough stress points.
and there was a little bit of a conversation where they kind of said, like anybody in this group can freak out at any moment and be a danger to the rest. And no, not really.
Well, Ashton did caveat that by saying, except for you, you're the only normal one, and pointing to Orem.
Well, the thing is, like Fern doesn't have a propensity for violence against the rest of the group. She'll steal,
yeah,
but she doesn't have a propensity for violence against the group. Imogen, she'll invade their minds without permission, and that is unethical and immoral.
I think they were referring to the fire incident at the heist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be.
Fern, I don't think Fern would go after a member exactly, but I think the stealing could get the entire group in a lot of trouble.
Oh,
if she steals from the wrong person and could be a danger to the group. And also, I don't think she would necessarily hesitate to cause collateral damage, as demonstrated with the FCG when she did heat metal, even though Laudna's hands were around their neck and Ashton was holding them. So she damaged 2 party members on top of the person she was attacking without even thinking about it.
And I don't think Ashton would willingly hurt another party member.
See, that's the one that I was like, they included themselves in that, but like, he wouldn't. He was getting mad that everybody else was going after FCG and hurting them.
Yeah.
So I cannot see any. Possibly he might protect FCG against the rest of the group.
I would say,
but I don't know, because he could have attacked, but they didn't.
I would say watch Talison's face when Ashton has FCG grappled and held, and then the rest of the party starts attacking FCG.
Oh yeah.
Ashton was
devastated,
heartbroken, and angry. Like, what are you doing? I've got this fucking under control.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that conversation's not over.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ashton was necessarily correct when he pointed to like everybody in the group but Orem and said we're all a danger to each other. Not necessarily true. The thing that I thought was almost funny, but not really, was Orem had a conversation with Imogen about how she's a natural leader and she kind of needs to take charge of this group because they'll follow her. And then after that whole thing went down with FCG, he was the one who had to give the leadership talk. I'm like, dude, you're the leader, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be, but he is.
And that's funny because when FCG said Ashton was the leader on the airship, Orem also backed that. And I think part of it was a joking thing when he was like, sounds like mutiny, boss. But like, I don't think he would have minded if Ashton ended up the leader. But Ashton, while a good person, does not make the best decisions and is not good with people very often.
And is not necessarily a tactical person.
No,
Orem is.
Exactly. And yeah, it was so funny that I could just think that inside Liam's mind, he was like, all right, I'm going to set these little tendrils in because he has to know that Orem has leadership capabilities and that he is eventually going to be the leader of this group, and was probably like just planting that to kind of build this character who doesn't want to be the leader and then will eventually begrudgingly accept becoming the leader. Oh,
he's setting up a character.
Yeah, he said it. Yeah, setting up a character arc only for it to happen like immediately, and he'd be like,
well,
let me just lecture everybody.
Yeah.
And on the lecture, they all agree that if any one of them attacks, that they will take care of the situation and they will take that person down if needed. And all of them agree to this, and none of them can do that. None of them can hold that promise.
No.
One.
Fern could.
No, not with Orem. If Orem was the one to turn on the party, I don't think Fern would.
Orem would never turn on the party.
No, Orem wouldn't. But still, there's a person in there who wouldn't. Chetney would. I don't think Chetney would turn on Fern. Chetney's got a huge fucking crush on her.
It's just getting worse.
It's getting so bad. Laudna and Imogen would never be able to turn on each other.
Speaking of Chetney, I was a little surprised that Travis didn't say, oh, by the way, I didn't get a long rest. Chetney was up all night doing this.
Yeah, right? I know, I am surprised too, because that's usually something he would do.
Yeah.
FCG would never be able to hit any of the other members. He wasn't even able to attack Dusk, you, when that whole thing was revealed. In fact, they just kept healing them. So FCG couldn't attack any of them. I don't think Fern could attack Orem, but that's a non-issue because Orem's not going to be the one to thing. And Orem is the only one who maybe would. Tactically, I think he would know this is the best. They can be healed. I got to do this for the group. I think he's the only one who could do it. Ashton would not hit FCG. There's no way Ashton would attack FCG.
The whole back half was absolutely amazing, and I think the entire fandom kind of hypothesized that FCG killed that group.
Yeah,
like from the beginning.
It was kind of one of those joke theories that as soon as we found out he had no memory of it, we were like, I bet they killed them all. And now we're like, oh.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Fuck.
But, I mean, it was really kind of obvious, but then there was like enough maybe not to, to kind of make you doubt. But then, yeah, the fan theories were all correct from the beginning. Also, Fern likes to steal. She stole a couple of those rock gem things off of the ceiling and put one in the birdhouse that eventually got broken. But Imogen has one. And Imogen is susceptible to magics that could make her more powerful. And
Orem warned her that Fern did this, and she didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that's going to be a problem later.
She's not going to be able to help herself. She's going to touch it.
Yeah. If any of you have watched Four-Sided Dive and been keeping up with that, Taliesin said on the last episode, I believe, that Ashton has some things in the back of their mind that are just kind of percolating, that they're eventually going to have conversations about with people. And I think it was in response to a question or something like that about, like, there's so many things going on, you guys haven't talked about any of this stuff. And it's like, no, Ashton's thinking about this shit. Ashton's got some thoughts coming on, and he used that in last night's episode by getting drunk, going in Ira's room, and looking at the Hishari helmet. Ashton's percolating on that. He's got ideas, thoughts, knows something, I don't know, but that, I would not be surprised if one of the next big Ashton RP moments is about that fucking helmet in the Hishari.
Because Matt said something about there's a tingling in the back of your mind or something like that. I'm like, what is that about?
Yeah, like it seemed familiar to them. Yeah. That was absolutely Taliesin sneaking in a little hint that Ashton is still thinking about this shit that happened at the heist. That the heist was only like a week ago, if that. It really wasn't that long ago. It was like 2 or 3 days for them to trek back, and then they immediately went out on the airship. And that was maybe a couple days. So it's like been a week since the heist. So although it feels like a long time to us because it's been many, many episodes, so it's been like 2 months for us. It's only been like a week and a half maybe game time. That's still early enough for them to be talking about shit that happened during the heist.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's my, next episode maybe Ashton's going to be talking about the Hishari and the thing, which could be a good Ashton Orem thing, because Hishari, it would be a obvious connection that Ashton could make. It'd be like, I should talk to him about this.
I think that's all we have for this video. If we missed something, if there was something we should have talked about, let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please let us know by dropping a like on it, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.